Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you have visited me before, then welcome back. If this is your first time, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Make sure that you like this video so you can get all of the notifications on when I'm posting, and make sure that you drop a comment for any questions that you might have for this video, or if you just want to add to the conversation. So let's get started. Okay, you guys, so for today's video, I'm actually going to be doing Q&A. So many questions, so many comments, and so many conversations created around my most recent video about my tummy tuck. And I wanted to do a follow-up video, so a part 2, about answering some of the questions that you guys had, so that way I can kind of make sure that I'm responding and everyone's kind of able to get their questions asked, and anything that people want to add, we can definitely keep this conversation going. We'll have my phone here, so I always check my comments in my YouTube station. So it's kind of like a hub that you're able to see your comments, see your analytics, but it's a way that you can manage your YouTube and make sure that you're capturing all of the traffic. So the first question that I'm going to answer is, when did I get my procedure done? Where did I go? And what is my doctor's name? And what is the facility name? So I got my procedure done in September of 2017. The main reason why I remember this is because I got the procedure done after my birthday. I am a Virgo, so my birthday is on September the 4th. Yes, Beehive, Beyonce is my birthday twin. But I got my procedure done as a kind of like a nice thing for myself, and it was a year after I had my son. I did take a year to lose the weight that I wanted to lose before I had the procedure done, so that's why it was a year later. My doctor is located in Fredericksburg, Virginia, and the facility is the Plastic Surgeons of Fredericksburg, and my doctor is Dr. Batista. Now, I will say that this facility does have other doctors. I have only worked with Dr. Batista, but I'm quite sure all the other physicians are awesome. You are able to check them out on their website, which I will link in the description box again, and you're able to do a consultation and even check out their website because it's super informative. Their website actually helped me decide which procedure I needed to get done, and it gave a little bit more history and even before and after pictures so you can really see what's going on. Second question that I'm going to answer is, what creams or lotions did I put on my stomach and my scar? So in the very first few days, you don't really need to put anything on your scar. But after my bandages came off and I was able to actually see my scar, I did want to make sure that the scar didn't dry out too much. So I would do a very thin coat of Vaseline. I would even possibly use Neosporin if I didn't have the Vaseline. But I really didn't put much on it, to be honest. I will say that the doctor will give you sometimes a antibiotic ointment, so that way you don't get any infections or anything like that, and it does kind of heal your scar. So outside of those things, I really didn't have anything geared towards scars. But after the first few weeks, I did kind of start to let my scar heal almost like a scab, so that way it can start to heal a little bit better and the coloration can go away. A lot of times, if you are of different ethnicities, or if you are prone to keloiding, you do want to be mindful of how you're taking care of your scars. You want to be mindful of how much pressure you're putting on it when you're wearing your garments. But then you also want to make sure that you are treating the skin very gently, so that way it's not causing trauma to the skin even more than what's been done. But there are some scar therapies out there that some physicians will recommend, and the goal of it is to lighten your scar. Now, is it too late for me to do more scar treatments? I don't think so, but I did think about getting a tattoo to cover, but my healing for my tattoo's been so well, so I haven't really thought much about it anymore. One thing that I will add in, it's not a question, when it comes to like my scar, I don't know if a lot of you guys could see, and I'm going to post another picture right here. When I did get my procedure done, I did have a tattoo on my lower stomach. So oftentimes it can look like it's part of the scar, but it's actually really a piece of my old tattoo. And even though it's not really that flattering, it doesn't really bother me that much as I thought it was going to. But if I do decide to get a tattoo to cover this area up for the scar, I will definitely make sure that it is something that is balanced out, so it doesn't just look like it's meant to cover the scar, but it actually looks like a whole entire piece. The other question that I have is, would you compare the healing process to a C-section? And to be very honest, I only know what it feels like to be recovering from having like a natural birth, so epidural and all that good stuff. So I've never really had to feel the pain of a C-section scar or a incision, but I would very much compare it to very similar when it comes to your abdomens. A lot of times you can't really stand up straight, because if you think about your ab muscles, it's like pulling, and it's almost like a rubber band that's just like pulled very, very tight. So you're almost scared to stand up straight. I would definitely say you don't really realize the ab muscles that you use for everyday things when it comes to sitting up, when it comes to lifting things, and when it even comes to picking things up. I would say if you've had a cesarean section in the past, you possibly would be able to relate to this recovery for a tummy tuck. Is it bearable? I feel like it is, but if you have a very low pain tolerance, I would always recommend talking with your doctor for different painkiller methods and making sure that they understand where your pain tolerance lives. Other thing that I would say is, I was not joking about staying away from people that you just happen to chuckle and giggle with, because my family thought that it was just going to be so funny to, you know, talk about stuff that they know makes me laugh. Mind you, I have stitches and I have an open I have a wound. So, you know, when you think about the muscles that you use through your body, and when you laugh, you feel it in your stomach. You actually contract your abs when you laugh. And, you know, it was funny, but it wasn't funny. So do be mindful of, you know, the activities that you're doing and the people you're around. Make sure you're keeping laughter at bay, because you are going to feel it later. Certain types of foods to stay away from. So a lot of times when you're recovering, you're not going to really be eating foods that are going to, you know, require you to have a big bowel movement, because for one, you're going to be taking painkillers, which are known to be constipating or can cause constipation. You're also going to be not wanting to use muscles to be able to push anything out. So I tell people, stay away from gassy foods, stay away from foods that cause them to be super, super regular, unless it's regular that is going to flow. So lots of fruits and vegetables and water, making sure that you're using something that's going to pass nice and easy, and it's not going to cause you discomfort. Because imagine trying to be gassy and you're backed up from all the painkillers and just all of those things, and you feel as though you can't, you're uncomfortable. So I always encourage people to make sure that they're eating stuff that's going to allow their tummy to be happy, and not to give them gas or anything like that. So stay away from gassy foods. So make sure you're very mindful of your diet. One of the things that I did get a question about is my costs. So my cost for my surgery was between $7,000 to $8,000. I do tell people that whenever you're looking at procedures, there are different seasons that procedures are going to be a little bit more costly, and then there's seasons that they're going to be less costly. I believe that it might due to supply and demand. I'm not really sure, but I do typically tell people that if they get quoted after a consultation, it does last a pretty good amount of time depending on the agreement that they have with the physician. But there was a young lady that commented and let me know that she is located in Oklahoma, and the price of the surgery is much more expensive. So I do encourage people that if you are going to travel and get the procedure done, do price around. It's nothing wrong with seeing what's out there and, you know, what options you do have, but just make sure that you're not cutting the quality for the cost. And the young lady who mentioned that to me, you know, that's definitely a bigger decision that you would have to think about and make sure that you're comfortable with, because that is money that you're paying for a procedure that you're getting done. Most recently, I looked for dental services to be able to get my teeth redone. And what was interesting is there's people that are local to me that I can go to and get the job done, but a lot of times when you look on Instagram or you look at these people that have these amazing smiles, you want to go to the same person that they went to, but you don't really see a lot of people talking about their experiences or talking about their journey. So anytime that you're going to make alterations to your body, always do your research and make sure that there is before and afters. It's an open communication where you can ask questions, and the place is very transparent and open about what they're offering. All right, my next question: how long did it take for you to get any sort of feeling from numbness back? So this is a very good question, If you have had the procedure done, or if you're awaiting to get the procedure done, for those who have had the procedure done, most of the time there's going to be an area in your stomach, whether it be around your navel or around your lower stomach. Oftentimes you cannot feel that area. I'm going to say that one more time. Oftentimes you cannot feel that area. So what was interesting, my son, he was breastfed, and when he would lay on my stomach, he liked to rub my stomach. And there'd be times where I could not tell that he was rubbing my stomach because I didn't have any feeling in that portion of my body, or in my stomach. But when he would come on the side of me, I could feel it just normal. Not a professional, but there are certain nerve endings that are maybe not met, or there's certain parts of skin that maybe, or muscles that may not have the same sensations or feelings, so it causes numbness. Now, it has been since 2017 since I've had my procedure, so I would say the first year or two, that's when I felt the most numbness. But now when I touch, I can feel it, but it's still a little numb. Does it bother me as much as it used to? Not really. It was a major surgery, and there were some things that were moved around and adjusted. So if it does kind of weird you out, or if it creeps you out, I would definitely consult with your physician. It is a part of the healing process. So if you feel as though it's not normal, definitely ask those questions and make sure that you're fully aware. How long does it take you to start feeling back to normal? So this is a very good question. It took me a good month, like a really good solid month, to really start to feel back to myself. I actually chose to come off of my painkillers a little bit sooner, just because I know how addicting they can be and how reliable people become on their painkillers. When you start to wean yourself off, there's things that start to happen. So you do have to come face to face with a little bit of uncomfortability, which is, it's going to happen. I did start to wear my garment, go without my garment for a few hours throughout the day, but I always made sure that I had it on in the most important times of the day. I did realize that eating habits went back due to all the medication that I was on. I did have to kind of do like a little detox, so that way I can get all the toxins of the medication out of my body. But I would say a good month or two was when I really started to feel back to myself. I was moving. I wasn't so scared to do one of these and do all of these. So it did take me time to really start to feel like myself, sleeping regularly, being risky and sleeping on my stomach, and even actually picking up my kids. So, you will kind of feel a little off-put, especially because you'll be recovering for maybe close to 2 weeks. So I encourage people to take this time to rest, focus on stuff that you could do, read a good book, catch up on a show, and just really focus on your body healing, because if your mind isn't where your body is, it's going to take a little bit longer for you to feel like yourself. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and make sure that you are subscribed for my videos so you get notices when I am posting new content. Make sure that you like this video and share it with your loved ones, friends, and family, and make sure that you comment below on anything that you want to add to the video, or if I left anything out, and let's keep it going. So this wasn't a question, but I thought I'd add this because I feel like I didn't get to elaborate on it a lot on my first video. So how to guarantee that you're going to get good results. So if you want more of like a flat tummy look, and you want more of like a contour with your waist and your stomach, your garments and your padding inside of your garments are going to be very important. So I spoke about in my first video is drains, and then also drainless procedures. So there's pros and cons to each. I can only speak to the procedure or the ones that I had. So I had drains, and the interesting thing about the drains are there's tubes that are still in your body allowing for extra fluid to flow out, but with the drains you do have to make sure that you're molding almost your stomach in how you want your results to go. So I took a foam padding. I actually got this foam padding from my doctor, but after the first week I stopped wearing it, and then I got back to wearing it again because I was still swollen, so it was causing a little bit of snug fit in my garment. But I did realize how important it was after. So what I did was I took the foam and I actually purchased another foam, and what it did was it allowed my stomach to lay flat, swelling to be a little less puffy, but then it also allowed for that fluid to go to where it needed to be, and it helped shape my liposuction. So a lot of times the garments are going to secure and put you in places of where you need to be. So it's almost like you're giving a big hug. Had I not worn the garments, do I feel like I would have had maybe lumpy results or results that weren't as promising? Yes. Your garments are meant to be worn. They're your insurance for your procedure. And if you're not going to wear them because you just want to see the results right away, that is the worst thing that you can do for yourself. I also started to do waist trainers when I started to heal up, maybe like 6 months after the fact. That also helped as well. I always made sure that they weren't uncomfortable or pulling or tugging on my scar, but it was continuing to allow my healing process. You're not going to really see your true results, honestly, until maybe like, I would say I saw my real results 7 to 8 months to a year. And I was perfectly okay with that. Just because swelling, your body's going through a change. Lost a lot of weight as well prior to, but it didn't make me regret the procedure. It made me trust the process. Let's talk about the belly button. So when I went to go do my consultation, I had a lot of questions. And one of the major questions that I had was, what's going to happen to my tummy, aka my belly button? So as a little girl, I always had an outie, and with me having an outie, it was kind of like comfort. So I used to suck my thumb and I would rub my outie belly button. Sounds crazy. We all got our vices, whatever. But the thing that I noticed about once my procedure was done is my belly button was no longer protruding. It was actually an innie. And they had to create me a whole new belly button due to the amount of skin that was taken off during my procedure. And oftentimes, yes, this is normal, especially if they're going to relocate the amount of skin that you have and you're getting rid of a lot of it. They're going to have to create you a new belly button so that way it makes sense. The other thing is I emphasized how much I wanted to make sure that my scar lived below my panty line. So it didn't matter what kind of underwear I wore, I was always going to be able to camouflage my scar exactly with my underwear. And I've tested it. I've tried on different underwear, whether it's hipsters, whether it's thick band thongs or whatever it might be. The band is always thick enough to cover my scar. And that makes me very happy because when it's bathing suit season, the last thing that you want is people staring at something that maybe you don't want them staring at. But other than that, I really don't care what people see. For me, it's more so, it's just a conversation starter. So I do encourage people to, talk about, the conversation around the belly button. How do they care for their belly button? I know once I was able to take my bandages off and kind of see everything, I did have to clean my belly button at least twice a day. And I did use Vaseline to keep it not moist, but keep it not dry, so that way it didn't scab up and start to stick to my bandages. So you do have to do a little bit of care for your scar and your belly button. But after a while, once they start to heal, it does become more easier. What if I plan on having kids or having more kids? How should I go about pursuing this procedure? So here is my personal experience. When I decided to get this procedure done, I had already had my son, who now is 4, and I had already had my daughter, who is now 8. And I had a boy and a girl. I felt like I was blessed. I felt like I was really at that point where I was done having kids, and I made the decision in that moment. And did I think a little bit about what if I wanted to have more kids? Of course. But I generally felt in my mind that if I make this decision, I have to stand by my decision, because if I wanted to have more children, there would be risks that were involved. One being, if I do have children after this procedure, it could possibly cause a whole lot of damage to my abdomen wall after it's been repaired. The pregnancy can be very uncomfortable because of the procedure that I had done. And, it's the possible having to reinvest and getting the procedure done again due to after having another baby. So when I made the decision about, what I wanted to do and if this was the right decision for me, I just went with it. I did have friends tell me, hey, if you want to have more kids, it's definitely possible, XYZ. But I had to put it out of my mind. So 2 things that I would want people to consider. One, if you haven't had a child yet and you plan on having children, I would possibly wait and then have the procedure after, or wait until you're done having children. Or if you do already have children and you don't know if you're finished having children, consult with your doctor. Let them know what your plans are, and when I say plans, your family plans, so that way they can give you the pros and the cons, and they can give you their professional recommendation. Because a lot of times it's not that you can't do it, it's just should you do it. And think about the goal in the long run. If you have the patience to wait once you're done having children, then power to you. But if not, and this is something that you want to do for yourself now because you don't know what the future holds, that's good. That's okay as well. But definitely get you a doctor that's going to support what you want for yourself and how you want to be comfortable in your skin, and just let them know what you're thinking so that way they can give you all the information to make a good decision. Last but not least, to wrap up this video, there's so many amazing women that have been commenting on this video that have been giving me super awesome words of encouragement and just saying how great my results look, and my kids are beautiful, and you know how much they appreciate the information. I have always been a woman that believes in sharing your knowledge and sharing your experiences. It warms my heart to see that people have gone through the same thing as me and have all the same questions, and the fact that my video can help you guys out there and really make a good decision on whether you want to move forward or if it's just, you know, walking you through the journey that you're going through right now. I'm always here to give great information. If there's anything that you guys want to share with me or any hot tips that you want to share to my subscribers or to one another, let's share and let's keep the conversation going. I look forward to giving you guys more content and just showing you guys what else I have to offer. And thank you guys for tuning in for my Q&A. If I left any questions out, please make sure to drop it in the comment box, and I will see you guys next time.